Good morning from South Africa. Welcome 360 family. It's great to have you all here on what's a World Cup finals day. How exciting is that? I'm currently on a farm about an hour and a half drive north of Pretoria. So the Wi-Fi is not ideal. I know it's pretty slow and the screen quality also not very good. But I thought I just had to jump on here and connect with my family and the people who have been following this World Cup with me, alongside me. I've really enjoyed your inputs and your engagement with regards to your thoughts on the games. And we've been through so many ups and downs. Excuse me. So many ups and downs, from starting in the US with some exciting games in New York and Texas, a couple of other spots, and then moving on to the Caribbean. We've ultimately reached the climax now after the two great semi-finals we just witnessed, England and India, when India coming out on top there, just thoroughly beating England. What's the word I'm looking for? Decisively, having a very, very good game as a unit. I thought they were very strong with the bat up front after losing the toss, really sort of absorbing the pressure and then applying it at exactly the right time. And I must add, the wicket started turning just at the right time for India. In that first innings for England, halfway through, the ball started turning and India realized this is a wicket we've seen before. We are used to these conditions, and they made full use of that. And then South Africa beating Afghanistan convincingly. That's the word I'm looking for. Both teams beating the opposition convincingly, and both teams deserve to be in the final. South Africa have won 8 in a row, and India won 7. And with that no result against Canada, I've absolutely no doubt they would have won that game anyway. So both these teams have stood out in this tournament, and there we go. It's India and South Africa in the World Cup final. India's been there before. They've had some heartache in the last 5 to 10 years with regards to big ICC tournaments, but South Africa, it'll be their first final ever. So I think the scoring that's been done there for South Africa was a while back. If I look at the squad, there's no one really carrying any baggage with regards to past performances. If anything, those past performances of being knocked out in the semi-finals maybe motivates them for today. I think it's a big motivation for Markram and his troops. A lot of these guys have played with me, and hopefully they remember the good stuff from me and the boys back in the day, the Morne Morgels, Dale Steins, Faf du Plessis, and take that good stuff into this final. It's territory we haven't seen before, and so hopefully this South African team can go in fresh and just forget about the past disappointments. And same for India. I know their disappointments are more recent, but yeah, it's advisable just to go in with a fresh start. Forget about what's happened. Look at the team around you, look at your teammates, and rely on each other on the day. It's going to be an incredible final. I'm here on the farm. We'll be going out for a game drive. We bought some rifles, so we'll be doing some range shooting, hitting the gongs. I don't know if you guys have any knowledge about the range shooting, but long distance range shooting, 300 to 700 meter gong shooting. That's what I really enjoy doing with my friends. It's a bit of fun. We'll come back to a watering hole where we'll light a fire. We'll do a barbecue or braai there. And then we'll head back home here around 3 p.m. South African time. I'll be setting up this lodge here. The television screens will be in full flight, and we'll be building it up towards that World Cup final. It's all South African people here with me, so we're obviously heavy leaning towards the Proteas side. But to all my Indian friends out there supporting India today, firstly, congratulations for making the final, for your team to make the final, and I hope both teams have a fantastic game, and may the best team win. That's ultimately probably the best saying. There's Markram's captaincy record over the years. He started in under-19 World Cup, won 6 in a row there to lift the trophy for South Africa. I've always been a huge fan of this guy's leadership. I've been publicly vocal about it in the commentary box, on X, on everywhere for a number of years now, that I feel this guy should be captain in all the formats. There's this ICC ODI World Cup record, the 2 games he captained, he won both of them. So that makes it 8 in a row from under 19. And then he arrived there at the ICC T20 World Cup and decided to go another 8. So that's 16 games in a row at World Cups for Markram. as captain. Quite phenomenal and absolutely incredible. I've put up a poll, guys, just to get your thoughts about who do you think will win today, India or South Africa. So go down below in the descriptions box and vote, please. I will come back to that poll at the end. I've got an idea what to expect with regards to the poll, but let's have a look at it nonetheless. It'll be interesting. Just coming back to Adam Markram, I feel it's is something special. It really is something special as a leader. Hopefully the bat can do a bit of talking today as well, alongside some great batters in Klaasen, De Kock, Miller, Stubbs, a few others. I feel if the batters can have a decent game today, we'll stand a really good chance in this final with that bowling attack. That's where the strength lies against a team like India. For the Proteas to stand a chance, the new ball must talk. Rabada, Nortje, Jansen need to come to the party like they did in that other semi-final in Trinidad. And I hope you guys listened to the last show, because I spoke about the seamers. That's a big threat for Afghanistan. And it's easier said than done, because most wickets in this tournament was flat, low, and the seamers didn't have much of a say. But I knew that Trinidad wicket might just have something in it for the new ball and for the seam bowlers. And a very similar story in Barbados. So it's not as much sideways movement in Barbados as in Trinidad, but it's got this extra bounce, half a foot of extra bounce. I'm sure the commentators will cover that during the broadcast. So keep an eye out for that. And that's where South Africa stands a chance. They need to get rid of guys like Sharma, Kohli, Surya Kumar, Pant early. We need to get them 3 or 4 down for no more than 30 or 40. And I feel that's where South Africa's biggest chance lies. I feel if India have a really good game as a batting unit, that South Africa might be under pressure. So a bit of a game of chess, game of cat and mouse today. It's going to be really great to watch how it unfolds, how these two teams strategically have a go at each other. We know India is confident. They are a very strong team with their body language. They believe they're the best team in the world, and they probably are at the moment. But South Africa will have something to say about that. They have a lot of world-class players who have played a lot of IPL cricket against these guys. Some of them have won some tiny battles against some superstar Indian players in the IPL. That will play a mental role into today's game as well. So keep an eye out for all those small little battles between bat and ball. It's going to be absolutely fantastic, and it will be up to Rohit Sharma and also Adam Markram to get those matchups spot on. Perhaps someone like a Bumrah will have a good record against 1 or 2 of the batters. You give him that extra over up front to make sure that you try and unsettle South Africa, or some of the spinners perhaps bring them on early if someone's got a bit of a bad history against the player. And same for South Africa. Markram would have had a look at all the stats in the IPL, Rabada's record against all the IPL batters, the Indian batters. And I think that's where the key will lie for the captains to get those matchups right. Thanks for everyone for being here. Good luck, South Africa. Magdalene Lupini, I agree. Good luck, South Africa, but all the best to India as well. We're not going to be too biased today. Obviously, I wouldn't mind the Proteas winning their first World Cup ever, but I know there are more than 1 billion people urging on India to win another World Cup as well. As we have a look at that record for both teams, India only that one no result, and I've no doubt they would have overcome Canada. So basically 8 wins for both teams. Both these teams, at the end of the day, have been the best teams in this tournament, the most consistent, playing the big moments the best. And it's no surprise to me that these two teams will be facing it off in the final today. Have a look at Rohit Sharma there, guys. 248 runs at a strike rate of just under 160. 92 is his highest score there. Most fours, most 50s, most sixes. Absolutely incredible how this guy has decided, okay, it is a big moment now. It's the back end of the World Cup. Let's quickly turn it on. And that's what the greats do. And Rohit Sharma has managed to do that. He's been in scintillating form. It's a big threat for South Africa. But that's where I'm talking about matchups. I'm thinking KG Rabada to Rohit Sharma up front. Get a slip or 2 in, maybe even 2. Get Rohit to think that we're going to try and nick him off to the slips and get one to move back and hit those pads, which has been a bit of a weakness for him over the years. But have those slips in place just in case one moves away. So you need to have Rohit thinking about both sides of his bat. And that's where he's the weakest. So the minute I think of that, Kagiso Rabada comes to mind. And possibly Anrich Nortje. But I'm thinking Rabada, someone with a bit more skill, ball to stand up a touch more, and a guy with a bit of fire. So there's the matchup to me, to Robert Sharma. And yeah, after experiencing heartache around 7 months ago, both teams are now on the cusp of history. That's correct. And Rahul Dravid reckons it's not a problem. Both teams would have moved on. I do think, and I mentioned this before, India's heartache is a bit more recent. Where for South Africa, I look at these players, and not a lot of them were around with all these heartaches. I look at the 2023 World Cup, yes, upsetting for South Africa. Not to go all the way there, but still a very young team. Not much was expected of them. Where in 2015, when I was there, and prior to that, 2007, 2011, 2003, 99, that's a long time ago, people. So guys like Aiden Markram, I think of Heinrich Klaassen, Tristan Stubbs, they weren't around. They've had one World Cup upset in 2023, but no one expected them to do well in any way there. So I won't call that big heartache for this group of players. Maybe they are inspired to be the first Proteas team to change things around, to go out there. Well, they've already created history, right? They're already the first ever SA team in a final in 33 years. They've got a lot to celebrate, and they've got a lot to be inspired about from the past heartaches. Where I feel the Indian team, most of them have been around for losses where they were expected to win, like the World Cup in 23 in India. They expected to win there, to make the final and go out and clinch it, and they didn't. So that's a bit more recent, a bit more emotional in a way. But look, at the end of the day, it's a final. It's a cricket game. There's more than enough experience in a Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma, Bumrah, just to go out there and say, guys, listen, you know what? We've come all this way. Let's give it our best shot for our nation, our country. So they're the two stalwarts, Rabada and Bumrah. But look at the teams. South Africa have taken 59 wickets in this tournament against India's 56. Average, there's nothing much to divide these two teams, and also the economy. South Africa's economy rate a touch better. But remember, I think they played 1 or 2 games more in the US, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And obviously, India had the no result. So very, very close. Not much to write home about there between the two teams. Very, very close. The bowling attacks. It's a matter of who can strike early, because these batting units need to be put under pressure. I think especially India, but also South Africa. I was going to say just India now, but then I think, hold on, what about a Quinton de Kock? If he bats throughout the power play, that'll be devastating for India. And same for South Africa. If India lays a platform and they have a bit of freedom to take chances in the first 10 overs, you are in big trouble. You don't want a Rohit Sharma and a Virat Kohli and a Rishabh Pant and a Surya Kumar Yadav to play with freedom and to feel like they've done the hard work and now they can relax and just play and express themselves. Same with the SA. If you give the middle order platform, guys like Klaassen, Miller and Stubbs, if you give them less pressure and show them, listen, we've batted 9-10 overs, you guys can now and come and express yourselves, that'll spell trouble for India. So both the bowling attacks will look to get the batters 2 or 3 down in the first, let's say, 7-8 overs. Crucial for both these teams. And let's see how that, I'll speak about a game of chess or cat and mouse, and that's exactly what it's going to be. It's all about matchups in those first 6, 7, 8 overs. Please post your questions down below, guys, and I'm going to keep it pretty short today. Sarvesh, thanks for that. Jansen and Rabada and the power play can be a threat for Rohit and Virat, with swing and pace on offer how to counter the space attack. Yes, I fully agree. Jansen's got that magic ball in him. He's a little bit erratic with the new ball. You see him bowl a lot of extras, but hopefully today he gets it around that off stump. We've seen how dangerous he can be if he finds that off and fourth stump, the top of that to these. We saw that against Afghanistan, a little bit wayward, and the minute he gets it on line, he's dangerous because he's a very tall guy. He swings it both ways, and he can nick you off without you knowing what exactly happened. It's one of those bowlers where he's got a bit of magic in him. And absolutely with Rabada as well, same thing. Rabada a lot more controlled. He will ask a lot more questions around that off stump. So the guy that comes to mind to me is Rohit Sharma, who will be put under pressure with KG Rabada. Moving on to the next one. Thanks for that, Sarvesh. I'm going to do 2 more, guys. So we're going to come to the poll, and then I need to go and get ready for the day. All right, so the next question then. before we wrap it up and before we touch on the poll, Anupam, what is the reaction over there in South Africa after the team making the first World Cup final? I was quite emotional, I must say. My wife asked me, how do you feel? And I just sat there, I was speechless, very emotional, couple of tears in the eyes, just incredibly happy for the guys, I would say they were the dark horses of the tournament. No one expected much of them. Yes, they're a good team. We all could see on the paper they're a good team, but there were so many other world-class sides. England, Australia, obviously India, the West Indies hosting. So there were a lot of upsets, and this young team decided, you know what, it's our time now. And inspired from past generations, I believe, I truly feel so. They've learned through the mistakes of the guys before them. And here they are in the final of the World Cup, the very first one. So it's new territory for all South Africans. We're all very excited. There's a big hype around the country. My friends were talking to me till about 11 o'clock last night. All my WhatsApp groups were going absolutely crazy. What do we think is going to happen? Where are you going to watch the game? There's a big excitement. And as I told you guys before, 33 years, it's never happened. So the entire nation will be behind the team. I feel most of the country is quite realistic. They know India are probably favorites. India have done this before. They are the IPL powerhouse nation with all the incredible talent that's come through over the years. But let's not forget, the South African team has got a lot of fire, a lot of passion. Most of them, if not all of them, play in the IPL. So they've also got that experience. It's just going to be a great battle. There's not a lot between the teams. I think India are slight favourites, but I do back our boys South Africa to come out on top today. All right, the final question, guys. I'm going to cover the poll after that, and then I'm going to make a run for it and get the kids under control. I hear a lot of commotion here behind me. What are the 3 key battles today, according to you, that'll decide the match? Kagiso Rabada to get rid of Rohit Sharma early on. I think that's a key battle. I think Maharaj's spell will be absolutely crucial. If India get going, if they're only 2 or 3 down in the first 8 or 10 overs, I feel Maharaj will be under big pressure. But I know this guy in and out. He's got BMT, which is big match temperament, and he's got a lot of that, people. So you'll be up for the battle, and I know the Indian batters will want to try and dominate him. They will want to send him a message early on. So that's going to be a great battle. Hopefully, Maharaj getting a couple of breakthroughs in that middle overs, and then the batting unit, specifically the middle order. Quinton de Kock, hopefully to start off well. So there is a big battle between de Kock and Bumrah, but I feel the big battle will be Klaasen Miller against the Indian spinners in the middle overs. If those two get going for South Africa, we've seen what Klaasen is capable of against spin bowling. This is a really good day for him to show the rest of the world that he's the best player of spin. So hopefully that'll happen. So there are a couple of battles to look out for. Obviously, Bumrah will be a force to be reckoned with, and we'll see what he comes up with on the day. Hopefully, not too much magic out there. All right, guys, that's all for the 360 Live today. Thank you very much for joining me. Thanks to all the super fans out there, to the broadcast channel followers on Instagram as well. Can you give us score predictions? I'll just quickly cover that. I'll say 172. Whoever bats first will be a good score. And then let's say India will bat first. 172. That's a lot of runs. Hold on. If India bats first, I'm comfortable with something in the 140s, and then South Africa to chase that. If South Africa bats first, I'm seeing 172, and then a very, very close final. I'm not going to touch on that. I hope you all enjoy the final. Let's quickly throw on that poll. I asked you guys, who do you think will win, India or South Africa? I'm expecting a big Indian number here. Let's have a look. So if the backroom team can quickly put that up. Obviously, my vote would have been for South Africa. Just give it 1 second, guys. They'll bring it on now. But thanks to all of you for joining today, engaging with me, all the questions out there, and all of you that have followed the T20 World Cup. I'm pretty sure you've had a great ride watching all these games. Follow me on socials, Instagram, Facebook, and also X. And there's the poll. I was going to say about 80%. I'm expecting 80%. 4,300 votes. Thanks to all of you who voted. 79% of you say India will win. That's about the amount of water that's on this globe. And only the land is what the Proteas will get. But hopefully we'll get the land today. Only 21% chance given by the audience for the Proteas to win. I must say, if I'm brutally honest, and I look at paper and I look at experience, that is about fair. And I'm dead honest now. But it means absolutely nothing in the World Cup final. I do feel if we play 10 T20 games against India on a good wicket, India will probably win 6 or 7. So that's just the honest truth. But it doesn't mean the Proteas can't win today. It's a World Cup final, and 21% or my 30 or 40 that I think means nothing. So it's going to be a great battle. Make sure to tune in. Also subscribe to the channel, and thank you very much for joining me here today. Have a fantastic weekend and enjoy the finals. I've just got to say, go Protea Fire. You've got this, boys.